Hello and welcome to this Edison TV update on Volition. Joining me is Cameron Reynolds, who is the CEO of the organisation. 2017, quite a series of milestones that have been covered.
Yes, it's been a big year, starting with some key hires. We took on David Vanston as our new CFO, which has been fantastic. He's very dynamic, as well as quite a few new members to our research and development team in Belgium, which is really helping to push out the new lab, which is 20,000 square feet and including the purpose-built lab space, which has really allowed us to do a lot more work which had been put on hold in our smaller facility, so that's been fantastic. And as we announced a few weeks ago, we've also announced a very large US trial for colorectal screening for FDA work. So that's 13,500 patients, that's costing us only $3 million, so it's been a very, very active quarter.
Let's drill down into a bit more detail on each of those subjects. The hires, first of all, and tell us a bit more about what that will give you.
Yeah, the key hires, apart from the Chief Financial Officer, we're expanding the team in Belgium a lot. With a new 20,000 square foot facility, we have a lot more space now to push several programs at the same time. So we're doing these very large colorectal trials, including the ones in Denmark, and now the large US trial for regulatory purposes, to have colorectal products available. And we're also looking to expand to large trials in Asia now. So we have a truly global reach with what we do. So that really helps us to do several things at the same time, and also to move back into some cancers and projects which we put on hold, including things like pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer trials. So it's a huge step change in what we can do and how quickly we can do it.
I was out there with you for the opening of the facility in Namur, very spectacular ceremony. On the Namur facility, you have had quite significant help from regional government there, the Walloon regional government, and you've been getting more funding through on that.
Yes, we've had help from a range of different groups in the Walloon region, and we couldn't be happier with the work we're doing there and the help we've got from them. They've provided several different ways of helping us through soft loans, some grants that you don't have to pay back. All of this helps shareholder value by providing non-dilutive funding, some of which you pay back, but some you don't, but it's pretty good terms over several years. So typically you start paying back in several years once you have a product. So it's a huge amount of help to us, and we'd like to thank them very much. It's been a real pleasure being in that region of Belgium, and it's something which we continue to expand. We'll continue to work with the regions.
Let's go stateside in the US. You've been talking for quite a long time, asked a lot about it on various earnings calls about these trials. Now you can put some more detail on it, and you can formally announce that the trials are going ahead with some pretty impressive partners out there.
Yes, the National Cancer Institute in the US, who we're collaborating with on the study, and the Early Detection Research Network are as good as they get. The NCI has 69 centres in the US, and they're the leaders in cancer research and development in the US. So it's absolutely fantastic. Not only are we working with such a good group, but because we're working with them, we're only paying $3 million for a trial of this size, not what most people expect, which is the usual cost, $30 to $40 million. So of course, when you're paying 3, not 30, it's a huge benefit to shareholders.
And you've pinpointed the fact it is spent over several years. These things are not quick, are they? How long is it going to take to evaluate whatever you're doing in these trials?
Yeah, we have a head start because we're working with the National Cancer Institute. They've collected 4,500 of the patient samples already. We're in the process now. They are of the next 9,000. So collection will take 2 or 3 years, and the work after that about another year. So optimistically, we'd be on the market with a product in the US around 2020, but more realistically, it'll probably be 2021.
We are hearing a lot about DNA and genetic testing at the moment. Gates Foundation are looking at this and going into it. We've heard it in the UK and also in different parts of the world. What's your message on that compared to the testing that you carry out or that you're promoting?
We actually welcome, there's many different ways of detecting cancer, and ultimately we just want better methods of detecting. We swim in a very different lane to all of those groups. They're looking for very complicated, very expensive tests. They need a lot of blood, and there's probably a market for those. And I'm sure they're spending billions on sequencing. They're going to find some good results, and I really hope they launch tests. But we're a different product and a different beast. We're looking for a very, very cost-effective test that needs a small amount of blood, which none of those other tests are.
So finally, from a shareholder's perspective, let's talk money coming through, revenue. When are we going to see it?
Expect to see revenue next year from a range of different areas, which we'll be announcing as they come through. But we probably wouldn't have very large revenue until the frontline products are available in Europe and the US, which would be more 2019, 2020. And we're hopeful of Asia as well. We're making a very strong push to get revenue from there. So expect to see some next year, maybe late this year, but certainly next year, and then really ramping up through those years.
So just putting it all together, a lot happening in 2017. You've had the lab opening, you've got new hires, and you've announced these US trials. So let's get the crystal ball out. If that isn't enough for 2017, what's going to be happening for the rest of this year and beyond?
Yeah, all of this has given us the capacity, particularly with the new lab and the new people, to really do things a lot faster and work on more things. So we're doing a lot of work on the triage test in colorectal, as well as the frontline test with the US and European trials. Also, we're looking at a symptomatic trial in colorectal cancer, and we're also circling back on the work we've done. We had very promising results in small studies in pancreatic and in prostate cancer, and we're working on those now. As we expand our capacity, we can do several things at the same time.
Okay, well, interesting to see how it's going. I'll be back, hopefully talking to you at the next earnings call. Cameron Reynolds, Volition, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick.